who doesn't want a life where you prioritize yourself first and are left feeling good about your place in life and how easy it is? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to all my returning people, and welcome to anyone who is new. Before we get started, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Share my channel. Today's video is just going to be me giving my thoughts on the soft life aesthetic and my tips on how to live a soft life. So I know I'm not the only person who keeps seeing people saying on TikTok, Instagram, everywhere that they are living a soft life. And I know that it is tied into black girl luxury. I will get into that. It also is really being definition that people wanted it to be versus how it has been so deeply tied into that whole black femininity coaching and just misogyny and toxic femininity in general. It's just like we need a break. I think that a life you live is not and it should not be based on what you look like, but that is just my thought. So let's just jump right in. So I want to read an excerpt from this article titled How to Live a Soft Life and Be Stress-Free, and it reads, living a soft life means you don't overwork yourself to the point of burnout. You're not constantly chasing luxury. You choose to live a balanced lifestyle and you enjoy living in the moment. And I totally agree with this article. The article also goes on to just discuss ways to make your life softer through the lens of your interpersonal relationships, making sure that you move more privately in the things that you want to change in your life, especially the things that you want to get better, because I agree with that in the sense of when you share your insecurities with people or things that may be like temporary emotions for you, people don't just let those things go. And so sometimes it's kind of hard for people to understand that you are growing out of a way of thinking or a way of acting. It promotes being able to say no and making sure that you say no more often, and most importantly, it stresses the importance. You talk about making time for yourself, and I think it is so important. You are someone that is chasing a softer life, is to make the time to appreciate yourself, even if you didn't do XYZ thing that you wanted to do. Maybe all you did was go to work, come home, but maybe you cooked all week and that's still something to celebrate. Or maybe you cooked a couple days but then you order. Like, you have to make sure that you're aware of how you perceive yourself, and to make sure that you don't let other people's perceptions like really just latch onto you and what you want to do with yourself. I find it interesting that when you go to TikTok and you look up soft life black girl, immediately you'll see people who are living in black girl luxury. And I'm not saying that a black woman cannot live in luxury and she doesn't deserve it. I'm saying that I want us to have everything we want through whatever we do. And I think it's nice for people to be taken care of and to know that someone else out there is willing to take care of them. And I'm not saying that the women who we see are not taking care of themselves, but I do realize that people push this narrative constantly of like, oh, well, if I'm hyper feminine or super feminine, divine feminine, all these feminines, then a man will just come want to take care of me because that's the vibe I bring, the energy I bring. And I think that people don't talk enough about how people get like plastic surgery to look like they have money. So for example, the BBLs. Immediately you see a woman with that shape, you're immediately thinking, okay, she got a BBL, she got money. And I'm not really familiar with like black girl luxury because I grew up poor, I'm still poor. And so just the thought of like buying a bag um, for the name and not even really the quality, just for like the exclusiveness of it, like I'm not willing to whatever to get that. And example that I actually saw was like there was a woman and she posted how she loved living like, you know, a soft life, and when she runs low on gas she just calls her husband, he'll just pull up and take her to fill it up. And I love that for her. If that's the life that she wants, that's not my business. However, what I want for black women is that we don't have to present super feminine. And what blows my mind is that when we talk about like being feminine or masculine, it's all about Eurocentric beauty standards. And I know I spoke of this in another video, but there comes a time in your life, whether you're older or younger, and whether you really discuss it with anyone else, but you really have to face yourself for who you are, for what you look like without makeup, without hair, without anything else. And I think it's interesting that so many people, they go through so much to live a life of ease, when sometimes living a life of ease is not caring what other people think about you or your appearance. I know it feels so hard to say that as a black person because literally our appearance will get us hurt or get us talked to a certain way. I think that when you see these soft life YouTubers, they're everything that like these femininity coaches value. So they keep their hair neatly done and straight, makeup, lash extensions, nails, heels, designer clothing, bags. But when we think about how like designer clothes and fast fashion items are made at the expense of poor workers in other countries, and it's like it's hard to correlate like a life of ease with like the brutal treatment of other people. And I don't know, it just feels like nothing is real and everything is just like about a facade. It's like people get online to be one persona, and then that is not even connected to who they are in real life. And for me, that's not how I think of influencing. Influencing is about showing people who you are, what your life is like, and maybe, you know, inspiring them to change a certain thing. It doesn't have to be, okay, now I want everyone to start a business, get an LLC, start a podcast, and do exactly what I did. And you know what I'm saying? I want this person to figure out what's special about them and what do they want to do with it. Not everyone wants to tie it into capitalism. And I just want us to be realistic about how our society works, and primarily how they treat black women. Ask any black woman you know, if there's someone that wears like makeup, wigs, nails, right? Ask them, who do they get dressed up for? And I know a lot of women will say, like, I know I personally used to say, like, I get dressed up for myself, but in reality, it was just like me dressing up just so that, like, people wouldn't even bother me in a sense. Like, not to say I'm okay with being ignored, but I just don't be, I can't describe it, but I feel like when you grow up, especially like in a Christian family, you feel like you have to be dressed up, you have to be this and that, and that's put on a lot of black women, where like immediately if we have a short haircut or whatever else, then it's a problem. We are always defeminized, ridiculed, and disrespected in terms of the beauty standards in this country and globally. Our hair must be like flat and straight. Our noses need to be thin. Our faces round and feminine. Meanwhile, non-black people, they create these entire personas based on highlighting those same things that are rooted in blackness or that come from black women, and then you're telling us that it's not an appropriate way to act, but if this person does it, then that's okay because they're not black. And I know you're probably like, well, why is she talking about this when talking about a soft life? But I'm talking about it because I do not define a woman's worthiness to be tied to her appearance. And because we're in this very misogynistic culture, like, it's very normal for not only men but other women to value other women based on what they look like instead of, you know what I'm saying? It, like, when you watch every movie where there's a nerdy person who is not dressed up enough, right? She's not feminine enough, quote unquote. They give her a makeover. She never goes back to like her old style or way of being. Like, she stays smart, but of course she still has to care about the outward appearance. And it's like, what lesson did it teach us? And it taught us to just be shallow. And I feel like if you are a woman walking around with a short haircut, no makeup, I'm not gonna think, oh, don't smile at her, or if she's behind me, don't hold the door. And I think it's unfair how we constantly convince ourselves that we need to do so much work on ourselves for the most basic human respect. People should treat us like the amazing people we are. Like, I was taught to, when I'm walking the streets, if I see people, you say hello, you greet them. That's it. Like, we don't live in that type of time anymore. Like, everything is a conflict. And I just feel like black women don't talk about how they feel unsafe, and so that's another reason that ties into why we focus so much on these toxic beauty standards, and it literally makes no sense. People are out here ripping their edges off, putting acrylic over damaged nail beds, plastic surgery, just all of these things just to be associated with luxury, just to hope that like someone will see you as this person that's worth being with, right? Just because of your appearance, and then y'all just gonna ride together off into the sunset with $1 million. And people don't talk about, like, I don't know, to me, black luxury and a soft life are living somewhere quiet and safe, enjoying nature, being able to do whatever my work is from wherever I am, having time for other things that just aren't keeping me up at night. So like, if I'm working from 9 to 5, then at 5 I'm done. You know what I'm saying? That, to me, you should feel like, I don't know, it does not seem easy to always have to be so put on and so pretty and so kept up and impossibly perfect just for someone to still make you feel like rough and just torn up inside. And you should feel like even at your bare minimum, that is enough. Your very existence is all the validation that you need. And I want to emphasize that the life you have, it could change at any second. I think that by focusing on your mental health and healing first, you will ease your way into what's best for you. Unfortunately, I do not have any tips on living a peaceful and soft life that may be well received. I think that to get the soft life you want, within how you identify your blackness and femininity, you need to also think of yourself as soft. A lot of black people go through so many traumatic things, whether it be at home or just out every day at school, work. And a lot of, if not most, young black women are constantly being adultified and trained into like being hyper feminine from a young age, and just again going back into those toxic beauty standards where like their mom was taught this way, so like they're not thinking to change that mindset and they just pass it down, and it's just damaging to your self-image and your mental health. And so I'm just gonna quickly share my tips on how to ensure that, for me, how I would want to have a softer life. First one I put is boundaries. This is most important because without limits, you could become a people pleaser. I used to be a really big people pleaser because I went through a lot of abuse, and I just felt like if you can make everyone else happy, then maybe you'll get peace. And it's like you really won't know peace unless you just say, I'm not participating like in this at all. There cannot be no partial. No, just remove yourself and make sure that anything you do, you feel good and you feel safe. If you don't feel good or safe, even if it's just hanging out with people, if you're not ready for that, then don't do it. I would say still try to get outside, get air, and just figure out something that you feel good about doing, but do it by yourself. The second is self-reflection. It is essential to find ways to let out your most interpersonal thoughts and feelings, both the good ones and the bad ones. If you feel bad about yourself deep inside, it will be like so easy to believe when other people say negative things to you. And I was that type of person where I really took like people's words to heart, because if you value someone's word and you trust them, and then you realize like, no, you know what I'm saying, it's hard, but you just like, you have to look inward as far as your worth goes. Do not tie it into your relationships with other people, because people don't really treat you how they feel all the time. It's more so that they treat you how they are. I try to be like cautious of that. The third is unplugging. It has become crucial for me to unplug because I'm very easily distracted. And so when I get on my phone, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook, I'm on whatever, like I'm just wasting time. And I realize that things seem so drawn out because I'm over here looking at these 7-second videos, and of course maybe I need to watch a video for something and it's an hour. And so when I take that into consideration, I just try to make sure that I'm taking a few hours, or at least 2 at a time, to just put my phone down. Like maybe I'll watch something, or just lay, relax, and focus on me. And then the last one I said is just celebrating yourself for being present. We're all doing the best we can. There is no way to predict what's to come. You have to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and your health and well-being, and also being in control of the information that you take in daily. Make sure that you're learning something daily. And also, we have to remember, like, as a collective, our words have power, and we put all these different energies out there, and a lot of us put so much negativity out there that it is. I hope that these tips help. I hope that you are chasing a soft life that includes self-love, excellent health, and happiness. And I'll see you in my next video.